The night sky had never looked more ordinary. Cities slept under the blanket of darkness, unaware that somewhere, far beyond their reach, the first whisper of an unimaginable event had begun. In a small observatory perched on a lonely hill in New Mexico, Dr. Elena Martinez stared at the glowing monitor, her eyes wide with disbelief. For months, she and her team had been scanning signals from deep space. They were looking for patterns, anything that could suggest intelligent life. But nothing had ever seemed meaningful. Until now, a strange signal appeared on the screen, a series of pulses unlike anything they had ever seen. At first they thought it was interference, static from a satellite or a glitch in the receiver. But as the signal repeated, the team realized it was deliberate. Not random. Someone or something was trying to communicate. Dr. Martinez leaned closer. This is not natural, she whispered. Her voice trembled slightly. Around her, the other scientists stared at the screen, the room thick with tension. The signal was complex. At first glance, it looked like numbers. But when decoded in certain ways, it revealed patterns, geometric shapes, ratios, and sequences that defied known physics. Even the computer struggled to process it. It's intelligent, said one of the junior researchers, barely above a whisper. Someone or something is sending this. Outside the observatory, the night remained quiet. But inside, the air felt electric, as if the very universe had leaned closer to listen. Word spread quickly after the initial discovery. News agencies buzzed with speculation, and governments quietly mobilized their top scientists and military advisors. A meeting was held in Geneva, where representatives from the world's leading space agencies gathered. They faced a question that had haunted humanity for centuries. Are we alone in the universe? Dr. Martinez sat among them, feeling the weight of history pressing down. "We have received a signal," she said, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. "It's intelligent, and it's coming from a galaxy far beyond our own." The message. "We can't fully decode it yet, but one thing is clear. It is directed at us." A murmur of awe and fear ran through the room. Some scientists were ecstatic. They imagined first contact, learning from beings far more advanced than humans. Others were uneasy. "What if it's a trap?" asked one military officer. "What if we are inviting danger?" But no one had answers. The signal continued to pulse across the observatories of the world, growing stronger each night. And then, something even stranger began to happen. Electrical systems in nearby laboratories flickered and glitched without explanation. Computers crashed, data corrupted, and security systems failed. Dr. Martinez's team noticed that every time they tried to analyze the signal too closely, their instruments would act strangely, almost as if the signal itself was resisting. "It's like it doesn't want to be understood fully," muttered one technician. His eyes darted nervously around the room, though no one else noticed anything unusual. Meanwhile, outside the human sphere of comprehension, the beings behind the signal observed their efforts. They had expected humans to be easy to manipulate, to bend quickly under the weight of advanced knowledge. But the humans, they were curious, stubborn, and remarkably creative. Already the aliens sensed a problem. Back on Earth, suspense built. People began noticing odd occurrences, sudden power surges, strange patterns of radio interference, and unexplained phenomena in the skies. Some dismissed them as coincidences. Others felt an instinctive unease. Then, one night, the signal changed. The random pulses turned into something recognizable, a sequence that repeated with frightening clarity. And then came the words, not in English or any human language, but in symbols that the scientists' machines could translate. "We are coming." The room froze. Dr. Martinez felt her stomach tighten. She had known this day might come, but nothing could have prepared her for the immediacy of the threat. The aliens were not just sending a signal. They were announcing their arrival. Panic rippled through the scientific community. Governments debated in secrecy. Should they warn the public? Or wait, hoping to learn more before anyone panicked? Meanwhile, conspiracy theories began to spread like wildfire online. Was it a peaceful greeting? A threat, an invitation to doom? At the observatory, Dr. Martinez worked tirelessly, decoding every piece of the message. The more she studied it, the more she realized the intelligence behind it was far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. The aliens seemed capable of understanding the universe in ways humans could only dream of. And yet, for all their power, there was something unsettling. a hint of arrogance, almost as if they assumed humans were insignificant. Then, the first incident occurred. A small satellite in low Earth orbit experienced a catastrophic failure. The telemetry suggested it had been tampered with, but no one could explain how. Dr. Martinez's team grew increasingly alarmed. It was as if the signal itself was testing humanity, probing for weaknesses. Night after night, she stared at the monitor, tracing the pulses, trying to make sense of the patterns. Every decoded fragment revealed more questions than answers. And then in the dead of night, the signal pulsed differently. A sequence of images appeared, not just numbers or symbols, but visual representations, stars, planets, and ships. Ships unlike anything Earth had ever built. Ships that moved in impossible ways, defying gravity, moving as if space itself were bending around them. The message was clear. These beings were not only coming, they were capable of reaching Earth in ways humanity could not yet comprehend. Yet amid the fear, there was a spark of hope. Humans were resourceful. They had survived countless challenges on their fragile planet, against both nature and themselves. And now, faced with a threat from the stars, that resourcefulness would be tested in ways no one could imagine. The final scene of the night showed Dr. Martinez alone at the observatory. She gazed at the sky, thinking of the millions of people asleep below, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding above. The signal pulsed once more, stronger than ever. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to respond, or perhaps to prepare for what was coming. The message repeated, almost like a heartbeat, "We are coming." And in that moment, the entire world, unknowingly, held its breath. The night sky had begun to change, ever so subtly. At first, it was just a flicker, a strange glint that astronomers noticed in telescopes. Then the glint became a shape, a dark silhouette against the stars. It was enormous, far bigger than any human-made spacecraft. Across the world, observatories and satellites confirmed the same terrifying sight. The aliens were on their way. Dr. Elena Martinez watched in awe and fear as the first signs of the approaching ships appeared on the monitors. She could barely comprehend the scale. The alien vessels moved with impossible precision, silently slicing through space as if gravity and inertia were meaningless. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice trembling, "but it's also terrifying." News channels buzzed with reports. Governments struggled to control public panic. Cities across the world went into emergency planning mode, while scientists tried desperately to decode the aliens' intentions. Some messages were simple and formal, broadcast directly to Earth's communication networks. The words were translated almost instantly by AI systems, though their meaning caused both hope and fear. "We come to share knowledge. We come in peace, but we are not patient." At first, many people wanted to believe in the promise of peace. Schools paused lessons. Families gathered around televisions, and the world watched as humanity faced the greatest event in its history. Yet a deep unease settled in. The aliens had already demonstrated their power. Humans were fragile by comparison, and the ships themselves radiated a confidence that seemed unshakable. In a high-security military base in Nevada, generals and strategists convened a secret meeting. Screens displayed the approaching fleet. Models of alien technology rotated slowly, showing shapes that defied human engineering. "We cannot fight them directly," one officer said grimly. "Our weapons, they are primitive compared to theirs. If they wanted to destroy us, Earth would already be gone." Despite this, humans were not defenseless. Across the world, teams of engineers, scientists, and ordinary citizens worked tirelessly to create countermeasures. Satellites were moved into new orbits. Communication systems were shielded, and cities prepared evacuation plans. Even the smallest actions mattered. For every human innovation, every simple idea could make a difference. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their approach. Their message repeated in cycles, each broadcast slightly different, testing humanity's reactions. Dr. Martinez and her team noticed subtle patterns. The aliens assumed that humans would respond with fear and compliance. But humans were unpredictable. They improvised, adapted, and resisted even in small, unnoticed ways. The aliens had not expected this. Suspense grew as the ships entered the solar system. Shadows passed over planets, creating brief eclipses that stunned astronomers. In the streets below, people pointed to the sky, trying to catch a glimpse of what had once been mere dots among the stars. Satellite images leaked to the public showed shapes far larger than any city, moving with deliberate grace. Even as humanity marveled, some scientists noticed signs of arrogance in the aliens' behavior. The ships always maintained formation, always followed a precise pattern, and seemed to underestimate human ingenuity. Dr. Martinez shared her observations in a private briefing. They are advanced, yes, but they assume we will act in predictable ways. They haven't counted on our creativity, and she was right. Small teams of engineers began experimenting with ways to disrupt the alien sensors. Ordinary citizens, from fishermen to farmers, noticed strange reflections in the sky and found ways to report and track them. Every small contribution added to a growing network of resistance. On the night the first alien fleet reached Mars orbit, panic almost overtook hope. The ships were no longer distant dots. They filled the sky. Lights blazed from their hulls, scanning the planets below as if searching for something. Military satellites recorded beams of energy, precise and destructive, slicing through debris in orbit. Humanity felt the weight of its vulnerability. Yet, amid fear, the first moments of humanity's resilience emerged. On a remote island in the Pacific, a team of scientists managed to redirect a communication pulse, confusing the alien sensors. The result was small but symbolic, a proof that humans could resist, that creativity could disrupt even the most advanced technology. Meanwhile, aliens observed with increasing frustration. They had expected to find an easy world ripe for conquest. But humans were already proving inconvenient. They adapted in ways that were illogical to the aliens, improvising countermeasures and unpredictable strategies. One alien observer deep within a command ship whispered to a colleague almost in disbelief, "They are stronger than we anticipated. How can they act so unpredictably?" Back on Earth, Dr. Martinez watched the unfolding events with a mixture of dread and hope. She knew the aliens' arrogance was their weakness. They believed in control and predictability, but humans thrived in chaos, in improvisation, and in collective effort. Every night, as she and her team analyzed the alien movements, they found patterns, not to exploit but to learn, to anticipate, and to survive. Public tension escalated. Cities enforced curfews, and emergency broadcasts urged calm. Some people rioted in fear. Others formed volunteer groups to assist in communications, rescue, and logistics. Humanity, despite its divisions, began to unite against a threat that was more powerful than any nation. Then, a breakthrough occurred. Dr. Martinez's team detected a faint fluctuation in the aliens' energy signals. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it hinted at something important. The aliens were not perfect. Their systems, though far superior, had vulnerabilities. Tiny moments of hesitation, gaps in their formation, and lapses in communication. This knowledge fueled a cautious optimism. Humans had a chance not because they were stronger, but because they were clever. Every scientist, engineer, and ordinary citizen had a role to play. Every small idea could become a turning point. The alien ships continued their silent glide through space. For the first time, it became clear that they did not intend to negotiate for long. They were moving with purpose, their destination unmistakably Earth. Cities across the world prepared for the first direct observation of alien arrival. Some citizens gazed at the night sky in awe, others with terror. And everywhere a quiet determination began to form. Humans would not go quietly. Dr. Martinez stayed late at the observatory, staring at the monitors as the fleet drew nearer. The glow of the ships reflected in her eyes a mixture of fear and determination. She whispered to herself, more a promise than a statement. "We may be small, but we will not be weak." And for the first time, the world felt a unified heartbeat. A quiet but growing realization that humans were not just witnesses to this event. They would be actors. And actors, when desperate and determined, could surprise even the most advanced invaders. The alien fleet was coming, and the world, fragile as it was, began to prepare. The alien fleet hovered above Earth like a storm that had finally arrived. Their ships, enormous and sleek, blocked out the sun in some places, casting massive shadows over cities and oceans. Humanity held its breath. Every eye turned skyward, every mind raced with questions. Were the aliens hostile? Would they even allow humans to survive? In orbit, the first human team was ready to make contact. Dr. Elena Martinez watched as Commander Rajesh Patel and his crew boarded the shuttle that would approach the alien mothership. The shuttle, a state-of-the-art craft, was dwarfed by the alien vessel, which glowed with a strange, pulsing light. It was impossible to estimate the size. It seemed endless, stretching far beyond human comprehension. "Remember," Rajesh said, his voice calm but firm, "we go there as ambassadors. No sudden moves. No assumptions. And whatever happens, stay alert." The shuttle separated from the station and began its careful approach. Inside, every instrument was checked multiple times. Even the most minor miscalculation could mean destruction. The tension was palpable. Dr. Martinez monitored the communications, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to anticipate the aliens' reactions. As the shuttle drew closer, the alien vessel began to react. Lights shifted, forming patterns that were almost like eyes watching the intruder. A low hum filled the air, an energy so powerful it made the crew feel their hearts pound. Rajesh took a deep breath, speaking into the microphone. "This is Commander Rajesh Patel of Earth. We come in peace." The alien response was immediate. A wave of light enveloped the shuttle, and suddenly, images and sounds filled the human crew's minds. It was a form of communication unlike anything they had encountered. Thoughts and visions transferred directly, bypassing language entirely. The crew gasped as they processed it, struggling to retain their focus. "We have watched you," the alien's thoughts echoed. "Your species is curious, unpredictable, and surprisingly resilient. You are not as weak as we anticipated." There was a pause, almost like the aliens were measuring the humans, testing them. Rajesh could feel their judgment, a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Inside the mothership, the humans were led into a vast chamber. The walls seemed alive, flowing with patterns of light that responded to their movements. The air was breathable, but it carried a strange energy that made humans feel both small and significant at the same time. They met the first alien. Its form was humanoid in shape, but its features were unlike anything humans had imagined. Eyes larger than human heads reflected a galaxy of stars, and its skin shimmered with subtle patterns. Its voice was soft but resonant, translated into human language through the neural link the shuttle had established. "Welcome, humans," it said. "We have been observing you for centuries. Your progress is notable." Rajesh and his team were careful to respond respectfully. "We appreciate your message. We wish to understand your intentions and learn from you." The alien tilted its head, emotion almost like curiosity. "We intend to offer knowledge, but we also seek efficiency. We expected your species to be more controllable." This statement sent a chill through the crew. The aliens had assumed humans would submit. They had not anticipated resistance, ingenuity, or unpredictability. Humans, it seemed, were already defying expectations. Dr. Martinez monitored from Earth, noting every subtle signal. The alien vessel's sensors were scanning the shuttle and the humans. It was clear that the aliens were trying to assess every possibility, every potential threat. But human creativity, even in these first moments, was already making them reconsider their calculations. In the chamber, the humans demonstrated one of their first small innovations. Using a simple device, they mapped the energy patterns in the room, revealing areas where the alien's sensors could be disrupted. The alien observed silently, its expression unreadable. Then, to the human's surprise, it nodded. "You are clever," it said. "It seems our predictions underestimated your capacity." The human team felt a mix of relief and pride. Even in this moment of immense danger, they had demonstrated humanity's defining trait: adaptability. They were not the weakest link, as the aliens had assumed. Outside the chamber, across the Earth, people watched the skies. Rumors of successful contact spread quickly. For the first time, humanity had a glimpse of its own potential. The aliens were powerful, yes, but they were not infallible. And humans, as small as they were in comparison, had already begun to assert themselves. Yet suspense remained. The aliens were patient, intelligent, and still vastly superior in technology. Every move by the humans was being analyzed. Every decision mattered. A single misstep could have catastrophic consequences. Dr. Martinez felt the weight of responsibility. Every calculation, every warning, every suggestion could tip the balance between survival and annihilation. Back in the alien chamber, the conversation continued. The aliens probed the humans gently, asking about Earth's resources, its defenses, and its social structures. They were polite, almost serene, but their underlying intent was clear. They were evaluating humanity's suitability, their weaknesses and strengths. Rajesh responded carefully. He spoke of humanity's desire for peace, their curiosity, and their willingness to learn. But he did not reveal everything. Humans had their own plans, their own small strategies, and they would not allow the aliens to see every card at once. It was during this exchange that the first subtle mistake by the aliens became apparent. They had not accounted for human unpredictability. A small experiment, meant to test the shuttle's systems, disrupted one of the alien sensors. It was minor, almost insignificant, but it planted a seed of doubt. The alien observers had not expected humans to improvise in ways that did not follow logic or probability. Dr. Martinez noticed the change immediately. On her monitors, energy readings shifted and the alien vessel's neural network seemed to hesitate. Humans had made a mark, however small, on the alien calculation. The first contact concluded with no hostility, but the tension was palpable. The humans returned to their shuttle, leaving the alien chamber with new knowledge and a renewed determination. Humanity had survived the first encounter, but they understood the stakes. The aliens were far from done. As the shuttle re-entered orbit, Commander Rajesh spoke to Dr. Martinez over the secure channel. They are more cautious now. They respect our intelligence even if they do not fully understand it. Dr. Martinez nodded, and that respect, however small, is humanity's advantage. They may be powerful, but we are unpredictable, and that can be our strength. Below, the world watched the shuttle's return, hope mixed with fear. Humanity had faced the unknown and survived, but the real challenge was just beginning. The aliens were here, their intentions still uncertain, and the human race had already shown that it was capable of remarkable ingenuity. For the first time, the aliens realized that Earth was not just another planet to be studied or conquered. It was home to beings capable of surprise, capable of resistance, and capable of defying expectations. The first contact was over, but the story had only just begun. And deep within the alien minds, a new thought began to take shape. These humans, they are more dangerous than we thought. The alien fleet remained above Earth, massive and imposing, yet strangely still. From space, the ships looked like colossal jewels, glowing softly against the dark void. Their presence was undeniable, casting shadows over oceans, mountains, and cities. Humanity felt small but not powerless. Not anymore. Back on Earth, governments and scientists worked tirelessly to understand the aliens' movements. Every broadcast, every minor shift in energy, every flicker in the sky was analyzed. Patterns emerged, and with patterns came opportunities. Humans were learning how the aliens thought, and how they could be outsmarted. Dr. Elena Martinez coordinated a global network of observation teams. Satellites, amateur astronomers, and even hobbyist radio operators contributed data. Every small piece of information mattered. Humans had discovered that the aliens' advanced sensors could be disrupted, but only in subtle, clever ways. Direct attacks were impossible, they would fail instantly. But subtle resistance, clever improvisation, and unpredictability could slow the alien analysis, perhaps even create openings. One early experiment involved communication. Humans began to transmit decoy signals, fake messages designed to confuse the alien fleet. The signals mimicked energy patterns the aliens used to scan for weaknesses. To the untrained eye, they seemed harmless, but to the aliens, they created a puzzle. Their sensors attempted to decode the transmissions, wasting valuable processing time. Inside the mothership, alien observers noticed the interference. They frowned, puzzled by the humans' ingenuity. Why are they not following expected protocols? One said to another. Their logic engine struggled. The humans were not predictable. They adapted in ways no calculation could foresee. Meanwhile, ordinary people contributed in small, unexpected ways. In rural towns, farmers observed strange light patterns in the sky and reported them to local authorities. Fishermen on the seas noted unusual energy reflections on the water and mapped their movements. Engineers in small labs created simple electromagnetic disruptors that, when activated at precise times, interfered with alien scans. These small, uncoordinated acts began to create a ripple effect that frustrated the aliens. Human ingenuity proved to be a weapon. The aliens had underestimated creativity born from survival instincts. They were accustomed to worlds where beings acted predictably under pressure. Humans, however, thrived in chaos. They improvised, adjusted, and collaborated in ways the aliens could not anticipate. One evening, a team in Iceland discovered something remarkable. The aurora borealis, intensified by unusual solar activity, could be used to mask human communication signals. By timing transmissions to coincide with the natural electrical storms in the atmosphere, humans could send messages without detection. It was a small victory, but a symbolic one. Even the most advanced alien sensors could be fooled by Earth itself. In Europe, engineers modified drones to mimic birds in flight. These drones carried sensors that relayed back information on alien energy emissions. The aliens saw flocks of birds but could not determine the real threat. Each new improvisation added to a growing network of subtle resistance. Dr. Martinez watched these developments with quiet pride. Humans were learning quickly, and the aliens were learning too, but the lesson was one-sided. Every alien miscalculation revealed another opportunity for resistance. The humans' creativity was becoming their greatest weapon. But the aliens were not passive observers. They adapted too. Some began to manipulate Earth's weather, trying to disrupt human activities. Storms appeared suddenly and energy patterns fluctuated in ways that threatened cities. Yet even these measures could not break humanity's resolve. People worked together, finding ways to shield power grids, reroute communications, and maintain essential services. Suspense grew as the aliens attempted a direct test. A small probe descended into the Pacific Ocean, scanning for signs of human technology. Its energy field was immense, capable of disabling submarines and underwater communications. Yet a team of engineers working in secret managed to misdirect the probe's sensors. It targeted false signals, wasting time and energy while humans continued their preparations. This subtle resistance frustrated the aliens. They began to whisper among themselves, their translations filling the alien mothership. They are unpredictable. They adapt too quickly. The aliens' arrogance began to show cracks. For centuries, they had assumed that any intelligent species would submit once their power was displayed. Humans were proving that assumption wrong. Every minor victory, every clever improvisation, was teaching the aliens a lesson they had not anticipated. Power alone did not guarantee control. In cities around the world, ordinary citizens played their part. School children unaware of the global strategy noticed strange patterns in their lights and alarms. Hobbyists with small computers and radios began experimenting with transmissions that accidentally, or cleverly, confused alien scanners. Each small act of observation, each tiny innovation contributed to a greater strategy that even humans could barely coordinate. And yet, the aliens remained dangerous. Their presence was constant, looming, and powerful. Humans could not engage them directly without risk of annihilation. Every act of resistance had to be clever, indirect, and unpredictable. The tension was unrelenting, a reminder that the aliens' strength far exceeded human capability. But humans thrived under pressure. They turned fear into strategy, doubt into ingenuity. Every small success emboldened them, creating a chain reaction of innovation that began to frustrate the aliens even further. In one particularly daring move, a team of scientists managed to create a small energy reflection device. When activated, it bounced alien scans away from human cities, creating the illusion that human activity was concentrated elsewhere. The aliens adjusted, then corrected, then paused, confused by the humans' unorthodox thinking. Humanity's subtle resistance had created cracks in the alien calculations, cracks that could later become a decisive advantage. Dr. Martinez knew the stakes. Humanity was not yet ready to defeat the aliens outright, but subtle resistance could buy time, create opportunities, and sow confusion. The key was unpredictability, creativity, and unity. Every human on the planet, from the smallest town to the largest city, played a role. By the end of the fourth week, the alien fleet had begun to shift its behavior. Patterns that were once precise became hesitant. Sensors flickered. Decisions slowed. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, and their arrogance was now a vulnerability. The suspense on Earth was palpable. Everyone knew the aliens were watching, waiting, calculating. Every move could provoke a reaction, yet humans continued to act quietly, cleverly in ways the aliens could not predict. Subtle resistance had become the defining characteristic of this new chapter in history. A reminder that even in the face of superior power, creativity and courage could level the field. And in the shadows of the alien fleet, deep within the mothership, the aliens whispered among themselves once more. These humans, they are more dangerous than we imagined. Every act of resistance, however small, teaches them. We misjudged them. Humanity had begun to prove itself not with brute force but with ingenuity. Subtle resistance was shaping the battlefield, preparing the world for the conflicts yet to come. And for the first time, the aliens understood that Earth would not be conquered easily. The stage was set. The humans had planted the seeds of defiance, and the aliens were beginning to notice. The next moves would be critical, and every human, whether they knew it or not, was part of a grand, unfolding strategy that would define the future of their world. The alien fleet had grown restless. Weeks of subtle resistance had frustrated them, forcing adjustments in strategy that slowed their progress. They had expected compliance, not ingenuity. They had assumed Earth would bend under pressure. But humans, stubborn and unpredictable, refused to be cornered so easily. In orbit above the Atlantic, Dr. Elena Martinez monitored a massive energy surge from the alien mothership. It was their first real offensive attempt, a test of humanity's defenses. Massive energy beams sliced through the ocean, searching for concentrated human activity. The aliens had believed that by striking hard, they could intimidate and dominate. Commander Rajesh Patel and his crew had anticipated this move. They had prepared a trap, a subtle strategy born of ingenuity and patience. The humans' countermeasures did not rely on brute force, they relied on cunning. Entire cities had been evacuated quietly, satellites repositioned, and decoy signals broadcast from multiple points on the globe. The alien sensors would be fooled, lured toward false targets while the real centers of resistance remained hidden. As the first beam struck the Atlantic, it hit nothing but empty water and harmless unmanned platforms. The aliens' calculations had failed. Humans had manipulated their expectations perfectly. Every pulse of energy wasted was a victory for Earth, and a growing humiliation for the alien commanders. Dr. Martinez felt a surge of relief as she observed the aliens' reactions on the monitors. Their precision, once unerring, now faltered. They attempted to recalibrate, but the humans had already anticipated their adjustments. Subtle resistance had become subtle dominance. In Europe, engineers activated the next phase of the plan. Drones, designed to mimic marine life and bird flocks, created a confusing pattern of signals that masked true human activity. When the alien fleet tried to scan these areas, their sensors picked up interference, forcing them to divert energy and resources to analyze harmless targets. The aliens were growing desperate. "Why are they so unpredictable?" one of their leaders murmured to another. Their logic engines struggled to interpret humans' improvisations. Humans were not only resisting, they were manipulating the aliens' own assumptions against them. Meanwhile, on Earth, ordinary people unknowingly contributed to the trap. Fishermen reported strange floating objects in the sea, unaware they were decoys. Farmers in rural towns noticed flickering lights in the distance, the result of hidden generators disrupting alien scans. Children playing in open fields unknowingly reflected energy beams with small mirrors. Every small act, coordinated or accidental, worked in harmony with the larger human strategy. The alien fleet attempted a coordinated strike on multiple continents simultaneously. Massive beams of energy illuminated the night sky, scanning for concentrated resistance. But humans had anticipated each movement. Cities had been evacuated, decoys had been activated, and emergency systems rerouted electrical currents to mask human activity. The aliens struck repeatedly but found nothing. Their frustration became evident. In a command center hidden in the Rockies, military analysts cheered quietly. Their plan was working. Humanity's ingenuity had turned the alien advantage into a disadvantage. Every beam wasted, every miscalculation, every unnecessary scan brought humans closer to understanding the aliens' weaknesses. The real turning point came with a clever use of the planet itself. Dr. Martinez had proposed using natural formations, mountains, forests, rivers to channel and reflect alien energy signals. By positioning decoy power sources and strategically placed mirrors, humans created the illusion of concentrated resistance in uninhabited areas. The alien sensors, deceived by the reflected energy, wasted hours recalibrating and analyzing targets that did not exist. Inside the alien mothership, tension soared. Their initial arrogance had been shattered. The humans were clever, adaptable, and cooperative on a scale they had not anticipated. Every attempt to dominate had been countered not with raw force but with strategy and creativity. A sense of unease began to settle among the alien leaders. In orbit, the human shuttle observed alien energy patterns flicker erratically. Commander Rajesh realized the trap was working better than expected. "They're falling right into it," he whispered. The aliens' miscalculations created openings that humans could exploit, small but vital. As the night wore on, the trap reached its climax. The alien fleet, frustrated by repeated failures, concentrated their forces on one massive energy surge, intending to obliterate what they thought was the heart of human resistance. But the target was empty. Human satellites had projected false readings, and decoy facilities had been constructed precisely for this moment. The alien strike hit nothing but inert structures and decoys. The resulting energy release illuminated the skies like a second sun. From Earth, it looked terrifying. But to the humans watching through secure observation posts, it was a victory of intellect over force. The aliens had been trapped in their own assumptions, lured into a strategy they could not counter. Dr. Martinez and her team exchanged glances. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We've proven we can disrupt them, confuse them. But they are still dangerous. We need to keep thinking ahead." The aliens were learning a new reality. Their calculations had failed. Humans were not predictable. They adapted, improvised, and cooperated in ways the aliens had not foreseen. For the first time, the invaders realized that Earth was not a simple target. Humanity was resourceful, resilient, and clever. Suspense continued to build. The aliens had not retreated. They were observing, analyzing, trying to understand the humans' methods. But each attempt only revealed more about their limitations. Human ingenuity, small acts of creativity, and subtle strategies had become a weapon far more effective than brute force. In cities around the world, people slept uneasily, unaware of the massive energy beams that had been misdirected, unaware of the decoy networks that protected their homes. Yet their everyday actions, guided by the larger human plan, contributed to a global success. Humanity's strength lay not in weapons, but in intelligence, coordination, and the unpredictable nature of its creativity. By the end of the night, the aliens were forced to withdraw. Their massive energy networks exhausted from wasted strikes, they retreated to orbit, regrouping and reconsidering their next steps. The humans had survived, not by overpowering, but by outsmarting the invaders. Commander Rajesh looked out the shuttle window at the alien fleet above. "They expected submission," he said. "They didn't expect brains over brawn." Dr. Martinez nodded. "And we've shown them that Earth will not be conquered easily. The trap has worked, but the war is only beginning." The alien leaders inside their massive ships whispered among themselves with growing concern. Humanity had demonstrated something they could not ignore: resilience, ingenuity, and unpredictability. The trap had turned, and the invaders had learned painfully that Earth was not an easy prize. The first major offensive had failed. Humanity had survived by turning intelligence into its greatest weapon. The aliens were still formidable, but they now understood that humans were dangerous in a way they had never predicted. And in the quiet aftermath, Dr. Martinez allowed herself a brief moment of hope. Subtle resistance had become proof of human potential. If humans could continue to outthink the aliens, the outcome of this invasion might not be decided by power alone, but by cleverness, creativity, and courage. The alien fleet had been forced into orbit above Earth, their massive ships hovering like silent predators. Days of subtle resistance had frustrated them, slowing their advance and shaking their confidence. But humanity was not content with survival alone. They had learned from the trap, and now it was time to strike back, not with blind force, but with coordinated intelligence, ingenuity, and determination. Dr. Elena Martinez coordinated efforts from a high-security command center beneath the Rockies. Screens displayed live feeds from satellites, drones, and sensors scattered across the globe. Cities, forests, oceans, and deserts, all were part of a growing network of observation and strategy. Every person, whether aware of it or not, was contributing to humanity's counteroffensive. Commander Rajesh Patel led the first phase from orbit. Shuttles carrying specialized teams moved into strategic positions around the alien ships. Humans had learned that direct attacks were futile. The aliens' technology was too advanced. Instead, their plan relied on exploiting weaknesses in coordination, misdirection, and precise timing. Every move was calculated, every action designed to force the aliens into reactive positions. On Earth, scientists activated a series of energy reflectors and decoy installations, further confusing alien sensors. Small unmanned drones disguised as birds, aircraft and satellites transmitted false signals to simulate concentrated human activity. Even ordinary people, unaware of the larger plan, participated by maintaining daily routines that inadvertently misled the aliens about human movement and resource concentration. The aliens, confident at first, began to respond with aggression. Energy beams and scanning pulses targeted areas they believed to be centers of resistance. But every strike was cleverly misdirected. Cities remained unharmed, infrastructure remained intact, and human defenses continued to evolve in real time. Humanity's ingenuity had turned the aliens' strength into their weakness. In space, Commander Rajesh deployed small, agile spacecraft equipped with EMP devices and energy disruption fields. These ships were dwarfed by the alien vessels, but they operated as precision instruments. Striking in coordinated bursts, they disabled minor systems on the aliens' ships, forcing the invaders to slow their operations and reevaluate their strategy. The aliens had not accounted for mobility and unpredictability on such a scale. Back on Earth, engineers and volunteers maintained communication networks that fed data directly to the human command. Patterns of alien movement were analyzed, weaknesses predicted, and countermeasures deployed almost instantly. Humanity's response was decentralized but remarkably coordinated, showcasing the planet's capacity for unity under pressure. Dr. Martinez watched as the aliens' formation began to falter. Their sensors flickered, their energy projections misaligned, and their decision-making slowed. The humans' subtle resistance had evolved into a large-scale offensive, and the aliens were struggling to adapt. For the first time, the invaders seemed unsure. Ordinary humans played a crucial role in this battle. Farmers, fishermen, pilots, and engineers unknowingly contributed to disruptions in the alien network. Mirrors, reflectors, and improvised devices created interference patterns that amplified the humans' strategic advantage. Even small, localized acts of ingenuity multiplied into a global effect. Every human, whether aware of it or not, was part of the planet's defense. The aliens attempted a countermeasure. They focused their energy beams, trying to locate and eliminate true human hubs, but their calculations were flawed. Human adaptability had created unpredictability that no algorithm could account for. Beams were misdirected, scanning pulses wasted, and the aliens' once perfect coordination crumbled. Then came the moment of greatest opportunity. A massive alien ship, far larger than the rest, attempted to assert dominance by focusing its sensors on Earth's central power grid. Human teams had anticipated this move. Using a combination of decoys, energy reflectors, and rapid redeployment of critical systems, they created the illusion that the power grid was concentrated in a different location. The alien ship fired and its energy struck empty terrain. The resulting feedback temporarily disabled some of its own systems. Commander Rajesh seized the moment. Small spacecraft targeted the alien vessel's now vulnerable nodes, creating chain reactions that disrupted energy flow across the fleet. The humans' counteroffensive was not destructive in the traditional sense. It was calculated, precise, and entirely reliant on intelligence and innovation. On Earth, people watched the skies in awe. The night was lit by dazzling energy flashes, but for the first time, humans did not feel helpless. Humanity was striking back, turning fear into action and intelligence into power. Ordinary citizens saw that their ingenuity, resilience, and cooperation were changing the course of the battle. Dr. Martinez monitored the unfolding chaos with a mixture of relief and determination. Humanity had learned that survival depended not on strength alone, but on creativity, adaptability, and unity. Every small action had contributed to the larger strategy. Every minor innovation, every clever misdirection, every human instinct had combined into a force that the aliens could not ignore. The aliens, despite their immense power, were being pushed to their limits. Their arrogance, once unshakable, had given way to frustration. Their attempts to dominate, control, and predict humans had failed repeatedly. Humanity's unpredictability, Their ability to adapt and innovate under pressure had become their greatest weapon. In the skies above Europe, a small squadron of human drones created a diversion, drawing alien attention away from the true center of resistance. Energy beams followed the decoys, leaving actual cities untouched. The humans' plan was unfolding perfectly, simultaneously defensive, offensive, and deceptive. Deep within the alien mothership, leaders whispered in disbelief. These humans, they are not merely resisting, they are coordinating in ways we did not anticipate. They are learning, adapting, and countering our every move. Their tone was one of concern, tinged with fear. For the first time, the aliens recognized the full scope of humanity's potential. Commander Rajesh and his team pressed the advantage. Small spacecraft disrupted alien energy channels, while satellites and ground-based systems amplified interference patterns. The aliens' advanced technology, once seen as invincible, faltered under the combined ingenuity of an entire planet. Back on Earth, Dr. Martinez spoke to the global network of scientists, engineers, and volunteers. "We are proving something important," she said, her voice steady and confident. "Humanity is not weak. We are creative, adaptable, and capable of incredible resilience. Every contribution matters. Together we can turn the tide." The aliens' morale was deteriorating. Their attempts to assert dominance were met with calculated resistance, forcing them to expend energy, focus, and patience. They had assumed Earth would be simple to subdue, but humans were rewriting the rules. By the end of the first full day of coordinated counteroffensive, the aliens had retreated slightly. Their formation was no longer perfect. Their sensors flickered inconsistently, their energy projections misaligned, and humanity had proven something that could not be measured in technology alone. Intelligence, creativity, and unity could rival even the most advanced alien power. Commander Rajesh looked out at the vast alien fleet from orbit. "We've made them hesitate," he said. "We've shown them we are not predictable, not weak, and not easily controlled. This is only the beginning, but it is a crucial start." Dr. Martinez nodded. "And this is what humanity does best. We survive, we adapt, and we fight back in ways no one expects. The aliens have underestimated us, and that will be their greatest mistake." The night sky remained alive with energy pulses and flashes, but for the first time humans felt a surge of hope. Humanity had not only survived the alien presence, they had struck back. Their ingenuity, cooperation, and adaptability had begun to level the playing field. And deep within the alien minds, a new realization emerged. Earth was not a simple target. Humans were clever, resourceful, and unpredictable. They had survived the trap, turned it against the invaders, and proven that even against overwhelming power, ingenuity and courage could triumph. The counteroffensive had begun. Humanity had struck back, and the world would never be the same again. The skies above Earth were finally quiet. The alien fleet had retreated, not destroyed, but diminished in morale and coordination. Humanity had survived the first wave, and in doing so, had proven something remarkable. They were not a weak species to be easily dominated. They were clever, adaptable, and resilient. Dr. Elena Martinez stood on the observation deck of the command center in the Rockies, gazing at the night sky. The stars seemed calmer now, but the memory of the alien presence lingered. Satellites floated silently above, returning to their normal orbits, while scientists around her began cataloging the data collected during the conflict. Every scan, every disrupted signal, every energy pulse had been recorded. This knowledge was invaluable. Humanity had survived, and now it had the means to prepare for the future. Commander Rajesh Patel returned from orbit, his team greeted with cautious celebration. The human shuttles had observed the alien fleet during its retreat, documenting its weaknesses, patterns, and limitations. "They miscalculated us," Rajesh said during the briefing, his voice firm but tinged with relief. "They underestimated human creativity, our ability to adapt, and our willingness to fight for survival. That mistake may have saved us all." Across the globe, people emerged from hiding and resumed their daily lives. Cities that had been evacuated reopened slowly, and normal routines returned. Yet a sense of pride lingered. Humanity had faced a threat from beyond the stars, and instead of submitting to it, they had risen to the challenge. Ordinary citizens, from children to farmers, from engineers to pilots, had all played a role in humanity's survival. Dr. Martinez reflected on the subtler aspects of the conflict. The aliens had been powerful, yes, but they were predictable in their arrogance. They assumed that strength alone could dominate intelligence and ingenuity. Humans had shown that these assumptions were flawed. Each small act, decoys, misdirection, improvised technology, had contributed to a collective strategy that even the aliens could not fully comprehend. Humanity had turned unpredictability into an asset. In the months that followed, Earth became more united than it had ever been. Governments shared information freely. Previously secret military technologies were repurposed for civilian and defensive use, and international collaboration reached unprecedented levels. Humanity had discovered that unity, coupled with intelligence, was the greatest strength they possessed. The aliens, meanwhile, had withdrawn to distant regions of space, but their presence lingered in human minds. Analysts speculated about their next move. Would they return? Would they attempt to study humans further or even retaliate? The uncertainty was both frightening and motivating. Humanity had proven itself resilient, but the threat remained real. Preparing for the next encounter became a global priority. Schools and universities incorporated new programs based on lessons learned from the alien encounter. Engineering, strategy, and problem-solving were emphasized more than ever. Young minds were taught the value of creativity under pressure, the importance of collaboration, and the power of unpredictability. Humanity's victory was not just survival. It had sparked a renaissance of knowledge and preparedness. Ordinary people also contributed to the rebuilding and innovation. Communities repaired damage from the minor strikes and disruptions. Engineers developed improved energy grids, communication systems, and defense mechanisms. Farmers and fishermen continued to innovate, finding ways to monitor natural and artificial energy sources. The planet had learned that every individual could contribute to its safety and progress. Despite the relative calm, Dr. Martinez knew the aliens had left lessons behind. Their arrogance, their assumption of superiority, had been humanity's advantage. By remaining unpredictable and collaborative, humans had turned the tables on an enemy whose technology far exceeded their own. Yet she also knew that vigilance was essential. The aliens had observed humanity's strategies carefully, and the next encounter might be far more calculated. Commander Rajesh addressed a global assembly via secure communication channels. "We have survived. We have struck back. But we must remain vigilant. The lessons we learned during this encounter are invaluable. They have shown us the power of intelligence, creativity, and unity, and they have shown the aliens that Earth will not be conquered easily." Humans had begun to celebrate small victories. Statues and monuments commemorated acts of ingenuity and bravery. Families told stories of individuals whose quick thinking had saved communities. The narrative of human resilience became central to global culture. Humanity had discovered its potential not just as a species of survival, but as a species capable of extraordinary ingenuity. Even the alien messages left behind, recorded during their retreat, served as a warning. Transmissions intercepted by human satellites revealed a grudging respect mixed with concern. These humans, they are more resourceful than anticipated. They adapt quickly, cooperate effectively, and exploit weaknesses with intelligence. Future encounters must be approached with caution. For Dr. Martinez, these words were both a caution and a testament. Humanity had impressed the aliens not with brute strength, but with cleverness, cooperation, and perseverance. HFY, humans fighting and surviving against the odds, had been proven true. Humanity's ingenuity was now a recognized force, even among beings who had once assumed dominance. As months turned into years, Earth rebuilt and strengthened. Technology advanced rapidly, fueled by lessons learned from alien encounters. Communication networks became faster and more resilient. Space exploration programs expanded, partly to monitor potential threats, partly to understand the universe better. Humanity no longer waited passively. It prepared actively, armed with intelligence, strategy, and creativity. People also reflected on a deeper truth. Survival depended not only on technology, but on human qualities. Courage, adaptability, and collaboration had proven decisive. A single act of ingenuity, whether from a scientist, a student, or an ordinary citizen, could ripple across the planet, influencing the outcome of events on a scale no one had previously imagined. Dr. Martinez often walked outside at night, gazing at the stars. The alien fleet might return someday, but humanity was ready. Humans had learned the value of intelligence over brute force. strategy over submission, and creativity over predictability. Earth had proven itself not as a weak world to be conquered, but as a home to a species capable of defying expectations. And in quiet moments, she smiled. The aliens had underestimated humans. They had assumed that power alone could dominate, that logic alone could predict behavior. Humans had proved them wrong. They had survived, adapted, and struck back, not through superior technology, but through superior intelligence, cooperation, and the ability to think beyond what was expected. The final lesson of the encounter was clear. Humanity could face the unknown and survive, even thrive, against far superior forces. This knowledge became a source of pride, inspiration, and vigilance. Humanity was no longer just a species on a small blue planet. It was a species capable of defending itself, of learning, and of growing stronger in the face of adversity. The aliens had left, for now. But their presence had changed Earth forever. Humans had discovered their own potential, their capacity to resist, to adapt, and to unite. And if the aliens returned, they would find a planet transformed. Not weak, not submissive, but ready. Dr. Martinez stood one last time on the observation deck, looking up at the stars. She thought of the millions of people whose ingenuity and courage had shaped the outcome. The planet had survived because of its people. Humanity had struck back, learned, and grown stronger. The future was uncertain, but Earth was ready. For the first time in history, humans understood a simple truth. They were not alone, but they were formidable. And any force that underestimated humanity would do so at its own peril.